All right, it is about 10 after 2. It is still very hot out, Justin.
Yeah, hot and humid, and as advertised, First Alert Weather Day, getting dangerous in some spots.
How are you
because
wearing this?
it's to cover up the sweat stains. I keep telling you that. It's hot outside.
It's so hot.
It's a little cooler in here, and that's where you want to be. You want to be indoors today. It's one of those ones where if you can get in place with air conditioning, get a fan going, anything like that, and of course stay hydrated. With the high heat and humidity, very easy to kind of deal with a lot of the heat illness related things. And so
take breaks, drink water.
Absolutely. That's something we want to talk about. But also, we did want to give you a first alert about both of the dual threats that we're dealing with today. The first one, of course, is the heat and humidity. We're all seeing that. Some of us, possibly later today and a couple of hours from now, could be seeing some severe weather as well. We got a line of storms across the lake that's making its way towards Michigan. As expected, we had that threat for storms in the forecast today, and if it does come through here, it could have some strong wind gusts as well as potential hail. And so we're tracking all of that. We have been. Right now, it's just a very hot, steamy, sunny afternoon in most places, and Jackson, among other folks, are some of the first to get to triple-digit heat index values today.
Yeah, I've been looking at the Jackson Skycam quite a bit, trying to go back and forth around the area to see how it's looking, and I can just tell by this that it is hot.
Yeah, and if you couldn't tell just by looking at it, here's the proof. 93, the current temp. You bring in a dew point of 71. What's that number on the bottom in the feels like department there?
I didn't know that it goes up 3 digits.
That is 3 figures that we have right there. Triple-digit heat index reading right now in Jackson. And guess what? We're not even at the hottest part of the day yet.
I was just going to say, we're not even halfway through.
It's likely still going to rise in the next hour or two again. And so that's what we're dealing with, unfortunately. I mean, very, very hot weather. So it's about the heat and the thunderstorm. So air temperatures today getting to the mid-90s. They're low 90s in Jackson, but they're creeping towards that. The heat index already there is 100. Many of us go 100 plus in the next hour or two this afternoon. So that excessive combination of heat and humidity really is packing a punch out there today. In addition, thunderstorms that flare up would develop very quickly with those hot and humid conditions. You can think of it this way. There's a ton of energy outside right now. There's all this potential energy, we'll call it, because it's all this heat and humidity. And of course, we know heat rises. And so you need something to get it going, to get it to be lifted. And if that happens, well, these things really start to develop vertically. They produce massive hail. They produce really gusty winds, torrential rainfall, and lots of lightning. And that's what we're seeing with a line across the lake. And so those are all things to consider in the first alert forecast. We'll tackle the heat first. Here's the current temps. Lansing and Charlotte, 90 degrees. Jackson, 93, 91 in Mason. And really everybody is at 90 degrees. St. John says 88 there. They update in about 10 minutes near the bottom of the hour. And I imagine it's about 90 there as well. So everybody dealing with that heat. And then you factor this in. I mean, this is about as tropical as you get around here. Mid-70s dew points. In Charlotte, it's 75. And you notice that when we bring the heat index into play, how about St. John's at 101 and Alma 102 right now? And so we're seeing really high heat index readings. Jackson, Charlotte, both at 100 degrees, as is Coldwater. And the numbers are even warmer towards places like Kalamazoo. They're close to 104 right now. And so really, really hot conditions out there. And you're only 99 in Lansing. So, you know, might as well just go out with a coat on.
Right.
I mean, we just got a ton of heat going on around the region right now. And again, this is getting into that dangerous range if you're outside for long periods of time without any water, being hydrated. And so you want to try to find a cool place and stay indoors. Heat advisories, as we mentioned, are in effect, and they go until 10 p.m. this evening. That's for everybody in mid-Michigan. And so all of us are dealing with this heat, as you just saw the proof on the map. And here's where that heat index, once again, is headed. And so you see where it's at. You saw where it's at now. Here's where it'll be around 4 or 5 o'clock. You can see that a lot of us are at similar readings to right now, but Lansing jumps to 101. Got a couple 102s on there. This will be something we see, and I wouldn't be surprised top of the next hour to see maybe a couple folks get to that 103, maybe 104 range too. And so very dangerous heat and humidity. And even tomorrow, with no relief again overnight in the 70s, we're still feeling like 90. And by comparison, that'll almost feel cool across the area by the time we get there. And so that's what we have going on. And so heat index is going to be something that we factor in here over the coming few days as well, even if it's not as hot as today. Severe weather outlook, by the way, slight risk for strong storms. These would come with any gusty winds and hail. It doesn't look like we have much rotation with the storms that have been popping up, which of course is good. It means that tornadoes are not a very high threat for us. However, we do have that potential for hail, torrential downpours and also gusty winds. We have just really strong outflow boundaries within these storms, and so that's what we're kind of keeping a close eye on. And there are new severe thunderstorm watches that have been issued until 8 p.m. this evening. Generally, they are west of US 127 in West Michigan, and so you see Clinton, Eaton, Calhoun counties included in that, along with Gratiot, Ionia, and Berry. However, Ingham County, Jackson, Hillsdale, Branch, not included in this severe thunderstorm watch. It doesn't mean storms will just suddenly magically stop right there, but it does mean that as they get into that range, maybe dying out, not necessarily having the same gusto that they'll come ashore from Lake Michigan with. And that's of course what we're hoping for. If they die out in West Michigan and they come as just a few raindrops through our area, I think we'd all be pretty grateful for that. So that's kind of what we're keeping an eye on. You can see it popping up on the top left here on satellite and radar. In fact, zoomed out image maybe gives a better idea of this complex of storms. It raced through Green Bay and parts of Milwaukee. You see it out there across the lake making its way in. Kind of zooming in on it a little bit, you can see that there are some parts of this that are beginning to come ashore. And if I can, here we go, I can pause it right here to sort of show you where this is. So you're looking up towards like the Reed City, Big Rapids area, and even a little bit west of that. And so over in that region, you can see some pretty strong storms. Once again, that would all be north of us, that activity anyways. It's kind of this portion of the line that's just south of the one over the lake that we're watching, where it looks kind of broken towards Milwaukee. That area could have some potential redevelopment, or it could even split, and then what we could see is the one in Milwaukee starts tracking a little bit further south, whereas the one heading towards Muskegon stays a bit further to the north. And so that's kind of what we're looking at with these storms. Hour-by-hour models have really struggled with picking up this feature, and so you'll show when we go through this hour-by-hour forecast here, it's really not showing almost anything coming to this area. It just keeps things sunny. So I think we'll probably see some sort of system pop up there, and none of our models are picking up on this right now, even though it's clearly already out there over the lake. And so 90s are what we have for the temperatures. This evening, 5, 6 o'clock, heat index still near 100 degrees, and so that's really up there. As we head into the late evening and overnight, some clouds will start to build back in. We might be able to squeeze some raindrops out. You can see at 3 in the morning here, there are still maybe a few showers and storms somewhat close to the area, so we're sort of watching that pretty closely too. As we get into Wednesday, it does look like most of us will have a chance to at least dry out a little bit. Temperatures probably upper 70s to lower 80s, maybe mid 80s if we manage to avoid the rain. There's just a few small chances thrown in there as we round out the week, but the good news we do have coming our way is that the 10-day temperature trend finally gives us some sweet relief. So we still have humidity Wednesday through Friday before some storms blow through, which we'll show in the 10-day forecast in a second. But you go out into the weekend, not only do the temperatures drop, but the humidity really plummets and falls off the face of the earth headed towards Labor Day on Monday, which is the coldest day in the forecast. And still at 72 is not cold by any means. It's just much cooler than what we're experiencing right now. So you wait a week, and we're looking at a 20-degree difference in high temperature.
I just noticed that.
And we're looking at probably a 30-degree difference in the feels-like temperature from one Tuesday to the next. And so that's good news coming for us. We, again, though, in the 10 days still have a few small rain chances. And so I still think, including the storms today, I think the highest chance for rain is on Friday, likely coming before the Michigan State football game.
That was my next question.
Right now, it's sort of looking like this activity is going to be leaving around dinner time. Now, the MSU game is at 7 p.m. at home at Spartan Stadium against Florida Atlantic, and so they're getting a little bit of home weather advantage, if you want to call it that, as we head into Friday. Hopefully the rain will be done by the time the game starts so that there won't be any issues with any possible and potential storms. But man, you head out into the late weekend, we're looking at 70s back. Next Monday for Labor Day, 72. And how about those overnight lows? How about middle 40s for a couple of nights, not just one, next week? And so we have that to look forward to here in the forecast. There's a lot of dry days in our near future. We just got to get to the holiday weekend to do it. And it does mark the unofficial end to summer, but that doesn't mean that summer weather is necessarily done. I do think the numbers by next week late are going to come back up near 80 degrees, and we'll have that to enjoy heading out into the next weekend in September, the first full weekend of September, if you will, since we're splitting this one in half. September 1st is on Sunday. And so the holiday weekend looks really great for us. First alert weather day today for those potential storms. But again, we have been touting this all day. The primary reason that we went with this first alert weather day anyways was because of these 100-degree heat index, dangerous temperatures, and humidity, because even without the storms, that still poses a risk to folks in mid-Michigan too. So even if the storms die out and don't make it to us, we still want you to have that first alert and know that this is a day because of that. Primarily, the secondary threat, of course, being the storms, and we really are obviously hoping and keeping our fingers crossed that we don't have to deal with those this evening.
So I did have one question. Do you think about the 6 o'clock hour will be the peak hottest?
It'll be close, yeah, and a lot of it depends too on exactly where these storms are at. So if they pick up a little, I don't think at this rate they shouldn't be to our area by 6 o'clock. Just with the pace that they're, or maybe it'll be close to 6 o'clock. The way that they're moving, they won't be here before then or much before then, even if they pick up the speed. But it does look like as we head further out into the evening, that's going to be our better chance to see some raindrops. So at that point, you know, even if you got all the heat and humidity, the rain cools down the air naturally as it falls, and so it won't stay 100-degree heat index for the people who get the rain. So we call it pick your poison. Either you're getting 100-degree heat index or you're getting the storms, which of course can be strong to severe. And right now it does look like we have the potential to see both in some mid-Michigan locations, especially the further west you are. So if you're in places closer to like Portland and you're getting a little further north and west in the state, that's the better opportunity, Ionia as well, for you to see some of the stronger gusty winds. Of course, we're going to have a first alert full forecast look as we go throughout the evening on this first alert weather day, not only tracking the heat and humidity, but those storms too. And so don't get too wrapped up or focused on the storms, I guess is what I'm trying to say, because the heat and humidity is very real, and you're feeling it if you're stepping outside. So whether it's storms or heat and humidity, sounds like a great day to be indoors if you can help it.
It does.
And of course, you can go download the First Alert Weather app for any updates. That's absolutely free in your app store and on Google Play. It's got some wonderful features that you can use, including there's a lightning map, there's road conditions if you're looking to see how things are faring. The live radar is a really nice feature because it'll show you a pretty in-depth look at what's going on. And so, once again, great tool for you to have across mid-Michigan, especially since, you know, it is something that we manually update as well in the First Alert Weather team. And so what you're seeing is going to be a forecast that we made on that app. So again, that's what we're kind of looking at across mid-Michigan. So pretty easy to be able to get to that as well if you've got the app downloaded.
So I was just looking at it. You saw me kind of playing with it a little bit. You can, so when you open it up, you get this little welcome screen. And if you scroll all the way, almost all the way to the bottom, here we go, you can actually enter, how many ads do we have? Enter to win a First Alert Weather Day umbrella, which could save you, give you some shade today, maybe save you during those pop-up storms. And then if you have any weather pictures, this box right underneath it, that's where you can submit your photos and videos right from your phone straight to the weather team. So.
Yeah. And of course, when you're taking those photos, which we love to see, make sure, of course, you're doing those safely. And that you're following all proper severe weather awareness plans when you're going through all of that. Obviously, if you see a big, I don't know, you see some really gusty winds blowing your tree over, maybe don't run onto your deck and try to snap a photo at that point. Maybe try to get one from in the house and take cover if you can.
Or you see some cool clouds. I saw some cool clouds the other day. Sent that in. So yeah, make sure you do that. Stay safe, but it is very easy to use and it's free.
And hopefully you don't deal with any damaging winds, but if you do have damage, again, maybe wait till everything's done and has blown through, and then if you can safely go outside, then maybe snap a couple photos, because even those can kind of help us show people, hey, this is the ferocity that so-and-so from wherever is
Make sure you
dealing
tell
with.
us where you're from, too.
Yeah, and if you point that out, we can usually go back and look at a radar, and we can figure out when that happened based on when something blew through wherever you're living at, so, or wherever you may be. So once again, First Alert Weather Day today, heat and humidity is one side, strong to severe storms is another. We may deal with both, but I still think the best chance for rain for all of us, including today, comes on Friday. And so we'll kind of keep our eyes on that. After that, not really much in the way of weather woes to worry about. We're going to have a lot more coming up during First at 4. Also, Studio 10 will have updates going on then. And, of course, in our 90 Minutes of News, First Alert Meteorologist Andy Provenzano will be covering it. And that's also maybe about the time some of us will start seeing a bit of this activity move in if it makes it across the state to get to us. And so you'll want to tune in for his First Alert forecast as well when we get there.
You got 25 minutes before you got to be on set.
Yes.
So I'm going to let you go. Make sure you stick with our website. We've got a list of cooling centers and tips and tricks on how to beat this heat, and a couple of stories on how other people, including student athletes, are beating the heat today. So check that out, and you can catch Justin in a little bit over 30 minutes on Studio 10.
Sounds good. We'll see you there.
Thanks.